All right, we live now. Peace and blessings, family. I got a special guest with me today, my brother Malcolm. We go way, way, way back to youngsters. So we're going to dialogue about a few things today: politics, religion, raising the children, etc. We'll touch quite a few topics. And again, we'll go deep into this conversation. The brother has a lot of knowledge and depth, and he's experienced a lot and overcame a lot. I'm allowing him to introduce himself a little bit more. Malcolm, you want to share a little something with the crowd?
Yes, sir, brother. My name is Malcolm Powell, and as he stated, you and I go way back, brother. We go back from the darkness all the way up to the light. And for the most part, brother, I'm a student of life. I study, I learn, and I try to, apply the wisdom to my life, brother. And being that, you an individual who I see in the same light as that, over the years, no matter what the situation is, we connected, we connected, brother. And that's the introduction for the people.
Yeah, no doubt about it, brother. Like I said, this brother right here, we go way back, and like you said, we was in the dark for a long time. We came into the light, as well as again, I'm a student of life as well, and it's a daily course, a daily lesson that I'm always engaged in improving myself and understanding myself more than anything now, more than anything else. My main focus has really been understanding myself, understanding the functioning of the brain, the conditioning, all those things that happen to us that we may not really recognize is happening to us when it comes to conditioned response, things that trigger us, things that not only bad things, but good things. The patterns that show up in our life over and over and over again, it's not by coincidence. It's things that are ingrained. And until we are super conscious of how our brain is operating, we can fall asleep and allow things to pass by us, on a regular basis. So that's been one of my deepest dives in these last few years, is really going inside and really starting to understand the actual functioning of the brain and how it functions. I know we was exposed to a lot of the self-help, the self-development when we were in the nation, when we was in prison, different locations, but we studied up under the same tutelage of
Yes,
the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I still hold many of those principles today. I'm not a follower in the sense of being a member of the nation, and also a lot of my things have evolved on my own from my own study. Just like, and I'm gonna let you jump in real quick. Just like knowledge is infinite, so we all take paths that suit us best. I think, you know what I mean. For those who do come into a sense of awareness, a sense of understanding, and the desire to seek more, we go into certain paths that with what it is that we're inclined to. So I see myself diverging a little bit from the straight path or the path that was given to us by the teachings, but I also know that those were the foundations of me seeking to learn and to regain myself. What's your thoughts on that, my brother?
on that, brother, is that every member and body part has a different function. You don't When you look at the heart, or you look at the brain, or you look at the lung, the kidney, the liver, the pancreas, all of these different, organs in the body are necessities for the body to function properly, but they all have a different function. When you look at the arm, the foot, the leg, the head, all these members are needed, but the arm can't do what the leg do. The hand can't do what the foot do. So as you stated, even though you may not come up under that umbrella of being in the nation, but you still moving the body. You still moving our people, which is the overall body, toward the direction that the body should go. Whether you're doing it as a hand, a foot, a leg, a kneecap, you still doing the work. And that's the most significant thing in and of itself, that you helping to move the body. You know, when I look at some of your podcasts and the stuff you post, I'm not as big into the political arena, but I can look to you and see, based upon me knowing where you at and knowing what me and you both stand on, I can see that your study, as it goes off deeper into that area, that allows me to go off into another area and then just connect with you on that, and we still on the same page.
Yeah.
Learning from you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful breakdown, man. With I didn't think about the analogy of the body parts, but that was a brilliant breakdown because that is true. You know what I mean? Like we are all individuals, especially those who are truly seeking to be what I call truly human,
Yes,
and
sir.
not just existing as a crafted individual. You understand what I'm saying? From society, from tradition, from culture. And what I have found though is my ability to integrate what it is that I know, but also be connected to family in particular, but other individuals who are not family, who are not exactly in alignment with certain types of growth, still being able to enjoy their presence while not engaging with them in the directions that they're going. You know what I mean? Almost like shining a light, but not really trying to shine a light. I'm just being who I am. Like I'm not putting myself out there anymore to try to show you that I know this, I do this, I concentrate on bringing this to the table. I focus on X, Y, and Z. I don't do that in order to show people, because first and foremost, I do that for me. And if they see it or if they ask a question, then I'm able to share with them what it is that I'm doing when it comes to personal development. I share a lot when it comes to my health and wellness videos. I'm doing a lot of stuff with the brain now, really understanding the functioning and really understanding all this stuff that's going on that's causing so much of the mental and emotional disturbances that most of us are dealing with. It's a large range of individuals dealing with a spectrum, across the spectrum, dealing with mental and emotional issues. So I'm really interested in that stuff right now. What's your thoughts on, because you're raising 3 young ones, what's your thought on the mental, the emotional development of the youth, not only the youth, but again, those individuals that are teenagers, early adults, and individuals even in our age group that have not been able to really master the mind and the emotions, therefore. And how do you go about dealing with your youngins when it comes to that? Because I know that's a unique challenge.
Yes, sir. Brother, when I look at when we was younger and I gauge, from back then in retrospect up to now and in the current, times, and I look at the stuff that we had to face, the things that we went through, and I look at what my children have to face and have to go through. They have so much access because we live in the information age. So they have so much more access to YouTube, TikTok, social media. They meet people when they on their games, when they into the game, and whether it's on Fortnite or whether my 9-year-old daughter is playing a game on her VR. She meeting people in these VR chat rooms, and you hearing conversation that they may not hear from me, but they hear from their peers.
Yeah.
And their peers is being exposed to stuff that I might not expose my children to. So I have to serve as a filter from what they're being exposed to, because I don't want to hide them. I don't want to shield them, because I realize that when you tell a child, don't do this, you really pique their curiosity.
Yeah.
Because they want to know why they don't want me to do that. Same thing when you go back to the story that the Bible lays out about Adam and Eve. He told them what? Don't eat from that tree. And what did she had the experience? What was What was it about that tree that he didn't want me to see, want us to see? Same thing when you're looking at your child, when you say, don't do this and don't do that. And we know from being children,
Yes,
we
no doubt about it.
and that's how they grow and evolve and learn through being curious. But they exposed to so much more, brother. And I mean, I'm always looking into their search engines
Yeah.
on their telephones, on their tablets, their PCs, and I want to look up, see what are they searching. Because
Yeah.
they want, now they can look up what they want on Google.
Hey,
So,
they're so advanced, man. It's amazing.
and Teddy, I'm gonna tell you, brother, one thing that it always stuck out to me in the teachings where I heard the minister say that children are born to solve the problems of their day.
Yes, sir.
Children are born to solve the problems of their day. So when I look at when we were children and I look at the children now, it seemed like the children now are so much more mentally advanced than we were. But then when I look at the set of problems that we face and the set of problems that they face, it takes up. I think it was Einstein who said that the problems that we face can't be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created those problems.
Yeah.
So children today who face greater challenges on a whole nother level, they
Yes.
born with a mental capacity that exceeds what we was born with so that they can solve these set of issues that they have today that we didn't have to have, that we didn't actually have. I would
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
So I try to guide him, Monte, because
Yes, sir.
like my oldest boy, he 12.
Yeah. Look, mouth.
Now he got so much access to this and that. I'll tell him something. He one day I Googled it, and they didn't really shoot the Sphinx nose off Dad because they was jealous. That ain't why that happened. Okay, son, Google this, and some Google done told you that was a myth, but I'm
Yeah.
giving you the real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man programmed the information that's in Google. Let's
Ain't no
be
doubt about
clear
it.
there.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same way hid stuff in books,
Yeah.
even though you have more access, you have to now be mindful of where the source of your information comes from on Google.
Yeah. Yeah. What the source at? Yeah. What's the source? What's the agenda behind it? The whole 9 yards. I use a lot. I found that the AI. I found that a lot of the stuff that I program into that, it seems to try its best to balance the information. It still has like I said, it still has someone who's programmed or those information. That information is grabbing from people who've already put out this information. So again, it's already programmed in. But what I have found with using Grok is that for the most part, I've seen that it tries to dig up the counterbalance and give you both sides of the equation when it comes to a controversial type of problem, what they call. So again, like you said before, that's powerful, but it's great that he has a dad that's able and willing to study and has studied and willing to listen and to dialogue with him. You know what I mean? I don't have any young children, but I do know that if I was to have children at this point in my life, I would be a lot more beneficial and effective with dealing with them on the levels that they're on, and a lot more humble and understanding that they actually have a right to try to come up with what it is that they think is, and I have to be able to guide them and show them if it's not in alignment with something that's going to be beneficial to them, the why. You know what I mean? So I see that, like I said, I see that a lot. I watch you raise your children from afar, but everything I see, I do, and I know you as an individual, and I know where you're headed in life, all at this trajectory, and you only going upwards. I
Yes,
understand and know that you know what I mean, you're really being effective, even though it's challenging because it's
yes,
like
sir.
I said,
Yes.
each one of them their own individuals, and like you're not trying to make them into robots.
Not at
Right.
all.
Make
Not at
them
all.
thinking beings. Yeah. So I admire that, brother.
And brother, I'm gonna tell you, even with my 6-year-old Malachi, they they little spirit, because like I said, they want to solve the problems of this day and time.
Yeah.
These gonna be the individuals who, with some of the issues that is staggering right now and destroying the community, destroying the mind, destroying family values and
Yeah.
things of that nature. These children is gonna be the ones who gonna have to combat that. And
Yeah.
so I don't never try to, kill that spirit of challenging me, but
Yeah.
I want to guide it and channel it to where you still allowing yourself, to be given the bigger picture, even though when you
Yeah.
see it one way. And so Malachi, my 7-year-old brother, this when he was sick, when he was 6 years old, he was trying to convince me about something that he wanted to do or something that he wanted. And so he would present this. He's 6. He
Yeah.
present that. And I said, well, Malachi, think about it like this. So to be honest, we going back and forth. And Malachi tell me, he said, really, Dad? I said, what you mean, really? He said, you really gonna go back and forth with a 6-year-old? I said, you're right. This how it's gonna be, and that's the end of the discussion. We gonna turn this into a dictatorship. This how it is, this how it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Definitely. Like I said, I know it's a beautiful challenge. That's what I can see from a distance, man. And like you said, you definitely have to be able to still maintain that authority figure without being a tyrant, which I know that
exactly.
you're not, but also
Exactly.
without allowing the children to be the parent. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because they can't. You know what I mean? They're just not there.
Exactly.
They eventually they'll get there where they can
Yeah.
guide their own life,
Yeah.
but they definitely need guidance. But also their curiosity definitely still needs to be allowed to a degree where it's not overstepping boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, brother. Like I said, that's a beautiful thing. I think one of the things that I've come to understand about me at this point, I'm more so in tune with an individual's ideology beyond just the race aspect, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not yeah, because what I've come to understand, and again, I would never deny the history of this nation. I would never deny what you and I went through, the conspiracy in order to allow us to be able to engage in a lot of that dark stuff that we engaged in. And this is not taking any personal responsibility from us, because I knew exactly what I was doing
Yes, sir.
and I knew exactly why I was doing it. You
Yes.
know what I mean? But I also came to understand that those drugs, those guns, all those things were allowed to be in the community for another agenda for the government. So I hold them 100% responsible for that bull job that they continued to try to do to affect the outcome that they wanted. But at the end of the day, yes, I made that decision. But
Yes, sir.
again, they are held accountable. And this is where I come back to now. What I see that made me lean in the direction of ideology more so than race. Not that, again, I'm not tied to my race. I'm forever tied to this cause. What I've come to understand from my perspective is it's almost as when we think about epic genetically, like it talks about the imprinting of propensities onto your offspring, onto your children, and just onto your body in general, meaning that, like I said, it's the propensity to do things without actually having to do things. What I'm seeing now, because of the culture, and it's America culture as a whole, not just the black situation. You know what I mean? But I look particularly at the black situation because that affects me immediately. When I look at what is going on, especially in the hoods, so to speak, and not even the hoods, just in general, with the acceptance of this popular culture, which blacks to a certain degree has made a subculture with some of the stuff that we've engaged in, and they label it black culture. I don't label it black culture because all of us are not dealing with that, you know what I mean, or getting into that. What I see is the more it gets repeated and embraced and passed up, it may not even be passed on verbally or even through behavior, but those individuals who engage in certain behaviors, when they meet, says the male and female, they epigenetically impact the sperm and the egg with emotional and mental proclivities that are part of them, that it's going to be there existing within that child. Not to say the child has to take on those things, but those propensities to engage in certain behaviors are already being laid in the sperm and the egg. And I think that has altered the mental and emotional perspective of blacks more than anything else. I'm talking about modern day 20, 30, 40-year period, that the behavior that we see now from a lot of individuals in the black community, we didn't see when we was growing up. You know what I mean? Either it was hidden or it wasn't as pronounced. But now it's pronounced to the degree that, like, it's almost no shame, no self-respect, and no real attachment to the humanity of being a human. Like, it's a lot of individuals out there, and again, this is not a black unique problem. I'm saying what I'm seeing specifically in a lot of the culture that has been accepted, so to speak. And that bothers me. What's your take on that, brother?
Going back to what you said, about the genetics, and I believe, again, transcending color to look at the bigger picture. Because when you look at, like you said, what's going on in the hood, the attitude, the mentality, but to really look at it in the sense the way that it impacts us and those in the neighborhoods, it goes back to what was instilled in us genetically over the years. Like you said, the detachment, the lack of respect for life. When you go back and you look at some of the stuff that we had to go through and endure during slavery times, and not just to focus on that,
Right.
because it's bigger than that, but you cannot deny the post traumatic aspect that it still have on us. When you have a male who he couldn't have a girlfriend or a steady wife, he was like what do you call it? He was a breeder. He
Yeah.
went from one plantation to the next and see
Yeah.
as the master seen fit, to breed. Because
Yeah.
the more that he breeded and impregnated, that was more money
Yeah.
for the person who owned him.
Yeah. More product.
So I want you to keep making these babies. No, you can't love them. You can't go. But you sort of see that same mentality in the neighborhoods, to where as men, instead of building businesses and conquering businesses and master, we take more pride in mastering a few silly women. How
Yeah.
many silly women I can master?
Yeah.
You
They,
know, moving from one to the next, not
yeah, that's
raising,
deep.
not raising the children, and
Yeah.
and that creates a whole different predicament, and the community has to face now, because
Yeah.
now the man is not in the household, so the children become unruly. They venture out for a father figure in the hood. They look up to the people who in the hood who,
Yeah.
mentally just not there to guide them right.
Yeah.
So it's a cycle, brother. And I'm gonna be honest. That's why every opportunity that I can get to use as a teachable moment with my children, I do it, because they don't know the life that we live. They don't know nothing about poverty and
Yeah.
18th Street from Cleveland and 19th Street, Claremont Avenue, 14th and Jackson. I mean, when
Yeah.
them places was them places, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh, no doubt about it.
They don't know that. And so,
Yeah.
brother, I'm gonna tell you what I did because of my children got it good, brother. They by grace of God, they have it good. Two great parents who both, doing for them and had their heads on straight. So I took my children and we got in the vehicle, I parked it. We caught the city bus because they never rode the city bus.
Oh, wow.
So to an extent, they looked at it like it was a joyride,
Right. Yeah.
But to us, I mean,
Right.
young,
Yeah.
we had to do to get there.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And so before we left, though, I told them to look around that neighborhood, Monte. I said, look around where y'all live at. Look up and down the street. Look at your neighbor house. Look at across the street. Now come on, I'm gonna take y'all somewhere. So we drove downtown. They seeing all the people, and downtown sort of has, as it always had for years. The people, the mental health people.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah. A lot of homes.
Yeah. And there, all kind of people you gonna see downtown. Even though today they building it up, but still you have those little remnants that's still sitting there. So then, brother, we rode the bus back, and then I went and got my vehicle and I drove over to. Remember where Mark Chris used to be?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, going on down a little bit before you hit the highway, it's a little area you can park. So I parked there, and we walked down 18th Street all the way up here. We walked up Cleveland, then we came up 17th Street through the corner. And when I'm telling you, they seeing glass, bottles, broken bottles. I'm seeing just being blunt with you. I'm seeing prostitutes been selling their body for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, living on crutches, still trying to hop in the car, teeth out, and you could just see the years of that living.
Yeah.
And I ran into a few brothers who like, hey, yo, Mac, what's up, man? Calling me by my old name. What's up, Mac? Well, you don't even come off the porch, do you? You know how they see in the wild.
Yeah.
Brother, so I finally get the children. They like, wow, Dad, you grew up in the hood.
Oh, wow.
So that's what happened when they got home. They say, Mom, you won't believe this. We survived the hood.
Oh, that's wild, man.
That's from Monte. You remember the movie Boys in the Hood?
Yeah.
Remember when old Fishburne took his son and killed him, and just sort of that type.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That type of thinking, taking them to see something different so they can have something to compare it to. I mean, brother, you just have to stay on top of it, man. And it's sad that I read a quote one day. It was a book I read called "Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys."
Yeah.
And it was by author, I want to say his name is Jawanza Kunjufu.
I heard that name.
Yeah. And then in this book, he got a quote. It say, how can you teach a black boy to be a black man when he has never seen one?
That's powerful.
That's powerful, brother. And so trying to be the father that I didn't have.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Because I realized how critical and how vitally necessary it is for me to be in my children's life, regardless of what the relationship is with me as a mother. I'm not for no.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Everything is a teachable moment, man. They still have fun, do their thing, but I'm gonna be that father that Trey had in Boys in the definitely. Giving them insight. That's how I am with them.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. Because again, like you said before, it's something that you and I, when we look back at the hood, even though we know that it was not a great place to grow up, when we look back looking in, but while we was in it, we knew the things that was going on, but shit, we made it enjoyable, even though yeah, it was like when you look back, you're like, damn, like we really did that, like we really lived like that. You know what I mean? We really survived that because so many of us who came up with us, most of us, well, I ain't gonna say most of us, a lot of us, maybe most of us went to prison. A lot of us became defeated though. You know what I mean? I see a lot of the brothers, like you said before, like I'm not really in contact with a whole lot of the people from my past like that. But when I do contact them or they do reach out and contact, I talk, still got love for them, but I have no desire to be in circles where people ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's glorifying, you know what I mean, hood shit. I'm not into that anymore. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not proud of like individuals like, well, you know, you was a legend, you was there. I was like, man, I'm not proud of that shit. Like I actually took advantage of people when I look at it from a more ethical, the same thing that I decry about the Dems and the Republicans as far as when it comes to exploiting the people. I did the same shit, but I did it to the level where I'm taking food out of kids' mouths and all that other shit too, and helping another human being destroy themselves. You know what I mean? Like I don't live in regret, but I do have regret for engaging in that type of behavior because I see what the fuck it done. Excuse my language. I see what it done. And so I was talking to my barber today. I said, man, I wouldn't we was talking about people still out there hustling, you know what I mean, at our age. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I ain't never going back to prison for anything like that. But I said beyond the prison aspect, it was more now, it's more the more ethical thing that we see. Yeah, I'm like, I would never do that shit. You know what I mean? Again. Like I have to find another way to make things happen, but I would never take advantage of another human being in that way ever again. You know what I mean? Because that shit it's immoral. You know what I mean? To be honest with you.
Hey, Monte, you remember? I think I had been home probably about a year, but I had seen you at Village Tavern.
Yeah, you used to go in and kill it up there.
Let me tell you, man. I mean, just to speak on what you were saying in regards to never doing that again, it ain't even about prison because I have a saying that where I say I've proven and we have proven we can do time. We ain't scared to do time. You know, I mean, we don't want to do time, but we've proven that we can do it if we have to do it. But saying that to say now it's the moral aspect, that I don't want to be a part of anything that's destroying a community, that's keeping a group of people down, that is exploiting people. So it's in me so much. When I had seen you at Venice Tavern, brother, I had 3 jobs.
I know.
Only 4-time job and 2 part-time jobs. Yeah. Just on the strength that to hustle something that was illegal, it wasn't an option.
It wasn't an option. Yep.
And people always say this. They say you can't say what you ain't gonna do. I say, you can say what you ain't gonna do.
Yeah.
In the Bible, they say a double-minded man is wavering in all his ways. I'm telling you what I'm not gonna do.
Yeah, no doubt about
it. And I'm standing on that. I will work 4, 5 jobs, before I have to go back to that in order to take care of my family, because it's in me. It's in me to take care of my family. That's what I make you a provider. But I don't have to provide for my family at the detriment and the expense of another human life.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's real talk, man. No doubt about it. Yeah, because like you said, that's the individuals who say tell another individual what they say they're not gonna do. That's the individual who haven't mastered his mind and don't want to master his mind and don't want to put boundaries as to what is non-negotiable.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And once you are able to put those boundaries and willing to put those boundaries, non-negotiable, I'm not doing this, it ain't gonna get done because you know that this is what you stand on. But that comes from developing of self. Most individuals are not willing to develop themselves to the point where they can say and see something and say, look, I know this is absolutely wrong. I'm not gonna do this. Period. It's not gonna be done. You know what I mean? I would die before I do this. You know what I mean? And if an individual stand on that type of principle, then they can't be broken. It be these individuals who don't have any principles, who don't develop any principles, and again, they allow the circumstances. And don't get me wrong, we have a corrupt government, no doubt about it. These individuals have been corrupt, and they continue to be corrupt.
Yes, sir.
But at the end of the day, even with their corruption, you and I, if we develop ourselves, we take the time and go through the pain of the 4 jobs, busting your ass for almost minimum wage.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? At that time, you knew exactly, I'm not going back to hustling. That's the same thing that happened when I got out the second time, because you know I went back. I didn't get enough the first time. You know what I mean? I got yeah. So I got out. I did those 5.5. I got out. I got back, went back to hustling, went back for 2, went to the state that for 2. And then when I got out, I went to McDonald's. I was getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I was doing the truck and all that other stuff.
Yes,
I
sir.
said, I knew, you know what I mean? And it was like, it was torture mentally,
Yes, sir.
you know what I mean? How to deal with certain mentalities within McDonald's when I had got out.
Exactly.
But I knew I wasn't going back to selling drugs. I said I would not be selling drugs.
And Monte, just to interject, taking that stance, what it really does, if you think about it, taking a stance of what I'm not gonna do, now it forces you to find a higher, more elevated way to take care of yourself and provide yourself. Brother, I'm gonna tell you, I've been home 13 years.
It's been 13, right?
It's been 13 months. I did 17 in some time. And I've been on 13, and this thing that I've learned about 401k and how to get a personal loan and this loan and but guess what? When I was in the street, I didn't have a clue what any of that meant.
Yeah. And you
But but and I look at you, brother. I'm gonna be honest. I marvel when I see you on IG or whatever. I'm like, look at my brother, man. I mean, because I know where we've been, and I realize that you have taken a stance that you're not gonna be that anymore, and you figured it out, and you figuring it out even more.
That's the process, man. Because it's not a journey that doesn't have its ups and downs, but it's a journey that I've determined that I'm gonna be on. You know what I mean? I've made that choice that this is the route I'm taking, and I'm gonna develop myself, continue to develop myself, and I'm gonna take action and challenge myself to be more. Not in a way where I don't enjoy. I actually enjoy life more now than I did even not even going all the way back to when I was hustling and making the money, but even when I was just out here in the streets a little bit, when you saw with not really in the streets, but Village Tavern, just hanging out, dealing with a lot of women and all that type of stuff. I came to that point now. Again, I enjoy I get out and walk parks and things of that nature, man. I just love being out in nature. You know what I'm saying? I love. I'm learning how. One of my clients let me borrow his guitar. I'm learning how to play the guitar. Some things that I just wanted to learn how to do. You know what I mean? Other interests have more interests, and I get more gratification out of learning things, studying, learning them, and growing, and even changing positions. Because and what we're gonna do is, because I'm gonna have to cut it short, because I'm gonna have to go to. I got a client coming up. But I want to link back up next week so we can talk more about politics and religion and talk about like my position. Like when we met, you told me about Trump. I didn't, like I said, I voted for him. I didn't view him as some type of savior. I did think he was a better option than Kamala because of the agenda of the gay agenda that they pushed and all that other stuff. But what I come to realize, and I thought he wasn't captured because they had tried to bust him in his head, try to take him to court. But to come find out, like you told me, he is as corrupted by the system as anybody. You know what I mean? And like I said, I voted for him this time. I didn't vote for him in 16 or 20. I didn't vote for any of them. But I was like, man, with this gay agenda and all this stuff that they're trying to do with trying to make men women and trying to like solidify that, I said, there's no way I could deal with them.
Yeah.
I said, I normally wouldn't deal with them, but he looks like he's trying, and they tried to get him. So I said, oh, he's not part of the deep state. Man, the deep state got that joker as deep as anybody else, just in a different way. So, so now, like I said, I see what it is.
And I would say this, I just want to interject.
Yeah.
Bro, that's beautiful, because I remember when me and you sat out there,
Yeah.
we were having that coffee, enjoying the breeze. We vibed.
Yeah.
You know, we met up.
Yeah.
And I really remember your conversation. And again,
Oh, yeah,
I'm a student in life, so I like to.
Yeah. Oh, ain't no doubt about it.
We what's the term? We agree to disagree. Yeah, but we still was on the same page.
Yeah. Same page. Yeah.
But brother, what I'm gonna tell you is, I commend you as a man and a student of life to be able to within yourself see where you may have miscalculated.
Yeah.
And now, hey, when you do a miscalculation and you see the correction, you correct. Yeah. And that's the beauty about this goal, this journey of life that we on, man. It's okay. It's okay to be,
Well, that's what I was like. I was sharing with this female. She considered herself, like, I never consider and never will be liberal, conservative, Democrat, or Republican. Never. You know what I mean? But I did, and I do understand the importance of politics, even though both parties are bought and controlled and owned. You know what I mean? It's clear as day now, especially with me looking at him and calculating that because they put him through the trial, because they tried to take his head off.
Yeah.
He ain't deep state, but he as deep as the rest of them in a different way. And I told her, and she's still trying to defend. I said, that's the problem with identifying as something like a party. When you identify with the party, I've seen it in all of them. You know what I mean? From the left and the right. Now you start to justify the BS that's clear as day.
Exactly.
And you justify it because now you feel obligated because you identify as X, Y, and Z. I said, no. I said, this dude, he is as corrupt as all of them. I see it. I voted for him, but I see the true him, and I'm going to call that shit out, and I'm going to let you know that I did vote for him. But now I see what I voted for, and I see what he's not doing, and I see that he's captured and caught. You know what I mean? So I take that all day. Like, this is what I tell people now. I have no desire to be right if I'm wrong.
And bro, to even have a mindset like that is a jewel and priceless in this world, bro.
Yeah.
To even think like that, man. That man, hey, bro, I commend you, though, bro. I commend you every time I see you. Even before I had, moved into my own place, I used to tell my children, Mom, because you remember, we was all at the place meditating together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, beautiful. And made your presence known as a big deal. And so she knows you. And it was even to the point where she would see your stuff and tell me, oh, I seen that new stuff. Monte was, just that, bro. I mean, so, bro, again, man, I commend you, man. I look forward to continue building with you, man. And
definitely.
Ultimately, bro, I would need you to help me set up my situation. Like, I talked to you about that before, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, it's I can tell you what you need, all that, and then if you need me to come over, whatever, to set it up, we can do that. But it's simple, man. It's really simple. And then, like I said, you can start that, and especially with your children too, with your son, with that building that podcast on multiple levels, man. We'll make it happen. I got to get out of here, Malcolm. let's look at another time about a week or two from now, and so that we can dig back into it and jump into some things. Like I said, I'll send you that information, the basic stuff that you need to set up with the YouTube, the StreamYard, with the mic and with the headphones. And
Yes, sir.
I send you all that information. You know what I mean? It's easy to do, bro. And then all next thing is just doing it. You feel what I'm saying? After you set it up. So let's
Whenever your time, I appreciate you having me on, brother.
Yeah, I no doubt about it, man. I want to have you on a regular basis because we got a lot to continue to build. We only touched the surface on a few things. So yeah, man. So let's link. I'm gonna text you and I'll see what your schedule is next week and the week after, and let's see can we link again. And again, if you have any particular specific topics that you want to really drill down in on, again, we could do that and we'll make it happen. All right.
Yeah.